Hello, my name is Leanna. I'm a Master's of Social Work student at the University of Utah, and I'm presenting Parenting Insight and Tips. These are evidence-based principles from the book Parenting from the Inside Out. It's a great book for helping the parent understand themselves and their own experiences and how those have shaped a view of themselves and a view of the world that also affects the relationships they develop with their children. So, my disclaimer is that it's not my intention to shame, blame, or compare parenting styles. With these videos, I'm just trying to provide support and education so that parenting relationships can be better than they are. And so, take what works and leave what doesn't. In chapter 7 of the book, it talks about keeping it together and falling apart, which basically walks parents through experiences they might have when there's conflict in the relationship and kind of a disconnect. So, when you are feeling stressed or find yourself in situations with your child that trigger past unresolved issues, your mind may shut off and become inflexible. Now, this doesn't happen all the time, and it doesn't happen for every adult. This refers to triggers that can occur because of the parents' past experiences and their issues that are unresolved. So, it also doesn't have to do as much with the child and what is happening in that moment, but it's recognizing that things that are happening in the moment with our own child can can expose some issues that are unresolved and throw us into a method or a way of thinking that is unproductive and unhelpful within the relationship at the moment. So when a parent experiences this trigger of the unresolved issues, they can experience flooding of emotions. This can be fear, sadness, or rage, and it's called the low road. So, more about the low road. This is when we fall apart. It looks like shutting off, becoming inflexible, and it's not usually the choice that we are consciously making. It's just kind of something that is now happening to us because we're becoming flooded with emotions of past experiences. So it creates an altered state of mind, and it's really hard for the parent to return to a higher state of thinking and processing once they have entered this low road or altered state of mind and altered state of thinking. So this entrance into the low road literally causes an impairment of clear thinking and ability for emotional connection because it is actually shutting off parts of the brain that would allow for those things to happen. So it's something that is happening biologically inside the brain and not just like an emotional thing. Yes, there are lots of emotions connected with it, but there is a functioning that the adult is actually not capable of. So these intense emotional reactions, again, are not usually in direct response to the child, but in response to what they represent. Now, talking about keeping it together, which is staying in the high road or the higher processing, the higher level of thinking. So, staying on the high road requires engagement of the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of the brain that enables rational, reflective thought processes. The high road allows for flexibility, creative solutions, the ability to make choices that lead to our values. So, this is an ability to observe a situation and make choices about our reactions to it. And it's the ability of the high road. It is not something that the low road allows us to do. When we maintain a higher level of thinking and processing, we can model proper management and emotional regulation instead of letting our behaviors kind of take control of us. Um, the high road doesn't guarantee happiness, it doesn't guarantee peace, and it doesn't mean that the home is going to be a perfect utopia. It just allows us to provide an example of thoughtful conflict management, emotional regulation, and have intentional interactions with the children while they may be unable to regulate their emotions. The high road is important for the parent to be able to take so that they can be an example for the children. So, the conditions that elicit such low road reactions in a parent may resemble relationship situations or traumatic experiences from the parent's own past. In saying this, I put this quote in here because I think it really highlights that there is no blame in the low road. It's not something to be shameful of. It's really just something to acknowledge and to be aware of as a thing that needs to probably change for the benefit of the adult just as much, if not more, than for the benefit or the child. And so this is not something to be like afraid of or to run from, be shameful of. It's really to help the parent and child relationship and the parent's relationship with themselves so that they can enjoy life better and they can enjoy their child better. So, how the low road works, there are triggers first, and these are the internal external events that bring up some sort of unresolved or leftover issue. There's the transition, which is the movement from the higher mode of processing to the low road, where we can no longer engage that creative and variable choice making brain. Then there's the immersion, which is just full on low road, unable to take ourselves out of it, unable to um, engage with self reflection, attunement, or a insightful mindset. So it's just riding that low road. Then there's the recovery, which is the process of reactivating the high road, the higher level of thinking. And this can create a really vulnerable space for the parent as they recognize what they have experienced and maybe are seeing that it was inappropriate or it was unhelpful or it had nothing to do with the child. And that can create secondary emotions of shame and anger and embarrassment or humiliation on top of the primary emotions of maybe it's hurt or maybe it's fear and sadness due to what was triggered and the memories of those past issues. So, how can we keep it together? Many people have leftover issues that cause vulnerabilities, and those come out when we start raising children. So, again, take those low road experiences as learning opportunities and an exposure of things that need to be resolved. The feeling flooded with intense emotions can provide insight. So seek healing with a therapist to resolve leftover issues. Maybe you don't recognize that you enter the low road. So you can talk to a safe and loving adult and peer. So, a spouse, a friend, a parent who maybe observes your reactions and your behaviors in conflict and can give you a little bit of insight of what might be going on or that it's not being handled well. And there's another deeper issue to take care of. So I like this quote: the best thing to do if a parent becomes aware of her intense anger and aggressive behavior is to stop interacting with the child. Because again, it's no longer about the child, it's about an issue that happened in the past for the adult. And so it can just create problems if the child is still involved in that low road processing. I hope that this was helpful. Good luck with parenting and reach out to a therapist if you're feeling like you need it.